everyone, it's Sophie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be getting ready with you guys and kind of talking to you guys about MAC Cosmetics. It's not going to be a tea spilling video, that is saved for another video. It's just going to kind of basically give you my opinion on the situation with MAC Cosmetics. I recently watched Thomas Halbert's MAC Cosmetics failure video. I think it was something along those lines. And I took two Instagram stories and kind of gave my opinion, and so many of you guys were interested. So many of you guys were saying that it's like informative. A few of you were asking me to do a video on it myself because I have worked there. I worked there for 2.5 years between 2017 and 2019. I was like, I can't remember all these years now. So I personally as well think that that time frame was the biggest changing point in MAC. No, it's not like saying it's my fault. So I just thought I'd talk to you guys about that and do my makeup as we go. So if you guys are interested in getting ready with me, hearing some opinions, as I said, this is opinions, this is how I feel about what's going on, then just keep watching. And I will leave Thomas's video linked down below as well. It was really, really good to watch, to be fair. It was a nice little Saturday night watch. So I have primed and done my brows already, just so that I don't have to pause talking about anything, because I'm actually kind of nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like I'm quite nervous about this because I just don't know what direction this is gonna go in. It's a new kind of concept for my channel, but we're here and we'll try. So just basically giving you some insights. MAC was created by two people, two guys named Frank, the Franks as I refer to them, as most people refer to them, and it was kind of created because they were, one of them was a photographer and one of them was a makeup artist for a photographer, as far as I remember correctly, and they were kind of sick and tired of makeup that was around at that point not looking the best on camera. So they kind of created their own stuff in one of their garages, I'm pretty sure, and created their own kind of brand from it and basically just expanded from there. Estee Lauder brought them and took over. Not too much like takeover, as in there wasn't too much change, it just became part of the Estee Lauder companies. And yeah, so basically MAC was formed and started by the industry, as in the makeup artist industry, the hairdressing industry, the photo shoot industry. It was in that kind of category, as opposed to we're just going to do this for fun. Like a brand kind of like Huda or something like that was formed from an influencer as such, from someone who just wanted to kind of make makeup fun. It wasn't necessarily Huda's dream or Huda's goal to be making makeup that is specific for photo shoots and whatnot. So this becomes my kind of thing with, I think, how MAC see themselves. My kind of thing is MAC started and still try to be and cater for makeup artists, and it seems like that is what they want to come across as their sole purpose, their sole clientele. You can tell by like their packaging. Like for me, this is very much makeup artist packaging. It's black, it's thin, it's sleek, it's see-through at the top. You know what it is when you're reaching for it. It's designed to get dirty, it's designed to be in a makeup kit, being tossed around, but that you know exactly what you're reaching for when you put your hand inside your kit. So with that being said, kind of, I think that they never, unless it's been a collection, they've never really branched on their packaging. And I'm not that really bothered about it. I think they may lose customers from that, because so many times you'll watch YouTubers or even maybe yourselves, and a lot of people, myself included, keep products mostly just for packaging. There are products that I maybe haven't used for ages or I'm not the biggest like fan of, but I will keep because of the packaging. And I think MAC have just, again, tried to stick with the makeup artist route and make sure that their appearance of MAC Cosmetics is a makeup artist brand. And I think that is the reason why MAC is failing as much as it is. And I think it's the argument between, are MAC makeup artist brand or are they an influencer brand? And I think it is hard to be both. I really, really do think it is quite hard to be both. It's hard to separate the two. It's hard to separate the two and to be successful with separating the two. People like Morphe, for instance, they started to sell in makeup artist trade shows and expos and everything because they had brushes that they wanted to sell to makeup artists. And obviously Morphe have now expanded. Morphe isn't solely for makeup artists, but now that influencers and you and I will go there and shop there. It's affordable, it's good, that kind of thing. And you will get makeup artists that go there because, again, it's affordable and it's quick stuff and it's, in the nicest way possible, it's cheap stuff. You know, you can go through that kind of stuff and you don't mind if that gets a little bit damaged or what have you. Like Morphe's brushes are really, really, really good. And their price point is even better, so you're going to get more people who are wanting to use them and wanting to go there. And I think MAC are just continuously upping their price, and it's just becoming a joke now. Like this brush, not that one, like this brush is £40. That's £40. And they've changed it from being real hair to synthetic, and it's still £40. In fact, they upped it. Like, it's even more expensive with synthetic hair than real hair. I feel like Thomas had a plan and I'm just going and rambling, so let me rein back. I think a lot with MAC as to why they're failing and not doing so good is they just did not invest in influencers at the time they should have. Influencers, I personally feel, are the people at the moment, and the people who have been for many years now, the reason why people shop and they're the reason why people buy what they buy. There's so many people who I watch who, even Thomas said it, Jaclyn Hill could have said go and kill your mother, and like we would have. The power of Jaclyn Hill back then was insane. And people just weren't talking about MAC, and it's not necessarily because MAC was bad back then. It was because MAC saw themselves as superior, as in they didn't need to scoop to the level to ask influencers to talk about something or buddy up and promote with an influencer. They kind of saw themselves as, we are MAC Cosmetics and people know our name, know our products and trust us, so we will always be number one. And I think MAC just did not understand the power of influencers, and I think I see so much of it with like older family members of mine when I tell them like, oh, you know, like I do YouTube, and it's kind of like they don't understand the power of it right now. YouTube is probably stronger than TV adverts, because not even YouTube adverts, paid sponsorship, even just mentioning a product that maybe not even is paid to be sponsored, but someone just mentions it. And like I said, I really think MAC just saw themselves as being superior, and that they felt like they didn't need that. And they would always tell us, oh, you know, we have so many returning customers. And I'm like, from someone that worked there and would see what we sold, people weren't returning to see what was new. And if they were returning and you showed them what was new, they would be like, okay, but can I just get my lipstick, please? People were returning because of the foundation. And the people who were returning for the foundation weren't makeup enthusiasts, okay? So they saw MAC Studio Fix as being the greatest foundation of all time. No other foundation really exists, just this. And I will say, I actually asked quite a lot of my customers a lot of the time why they wouldn't try other brands and everything, and it's just, that's kind of what they knew and they just stuck to it. So it's not like, I always see the makeup shoppers who are going to make a difference are makeup enthusiasts, because we're the people who will try other brands, we're the people who will experiment, we're the people who are on the hunt for the best foundation, we're the people who, you know, we won't just settle because we used Studio Fix 10 years ago and we're just not going to steer anywhere else, and we're not going to change our minds. That's going to be our foundation. So MAC would always be like, we're having so many great returning customers, blah blah. But these returning customers, like I said, were customers who were not ready to branch out and not ready to look for something else. So a lot of them, they were older ladies, a lot of them. you know, and they'd been using Fling eyebrow pencil for years, and that's all they knew, and that was fine. MAC struggled to get new customers, and MAC struggled to get even returning customers buying new stuff. And a lot of it is because you'd get, even if you get like a makeup enthusiast, because MAC never used any influencers, because MAC never targeted people properly or marketed themselves properly, no one knew what was new. No one knew if new stuff would come out. You know, the collections, oh my god, I literally remember the Cinderella collection sold out in minutes. I remember when Oh Darling first came out, I went to Selfridges in town and I got there for 3 minutes past 10 and it opens at 10 and they sold out in 3 minutes. MAC weren't doing that. Things were sitting on the shelves for months. We were having stock for ages, and then it would just go into sale. And that's another thing, MAC never ever did sales for the main reason of they didn't have anything to put in sale. Everything was a permanent line. You know, it's not like clothes where it's like, oh, it's out of season now, so let's just pop it in a sale. And now all of a sudden they do sales, which, I mean, I'm not mad. I can get makeup for cheaper. I'm happy. So it's kind of like they were feeling a hit, and then their collections at the same time were so, I mean, they weren't the best. Let's just put it like that. They were creating collections every month because they just needed clientele again, and they were relying on the fact that their collections do so well. So instead of investing back into their permanent lines and their permanent products to make them better, they basically just decided, no, we'll just make a new collection. And it got to the point where their collections were flopping, so they were making collections to make up for that collection. So they launched the Electric Wonder palette. They launched the Electric Wonder collection, which it went really bad. It went really, really, really bad. And within weeks, like not even a month, Boom Boom Bloom, Bloom Bloom, Boom Boom Bloom was released. Because it was trying to save how bad the Electric Wonder palette was. And it was honestly, they just at that point could not do anything. And I actually remember the first influencer package that MAC sent out, and it was the lip vault, and it was every lip item MAC had created. So it was every single lipstick, every single lip gloss, every single retro matte, or everything. And they'd sent that, and that was their first PR, and I was literally just like, you guys, wow. Because it was mind-boggling. This brand who was so, you know, we're into artistry, we love artistry, blah, 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 blah. And then what they were doing to try and get sales, to contact influencers. Like I said, I think they should have done that anyway, don't get me wrong. But it was the fact that coming from what we were told from higher up was that MAC is an artistry brand. And if you're an artistry brand, you need to take the hit that when all these other brands like Huda, Fenty, Morphe, I know Morphe have been around for ages, but when they were getting their peak and they were high up, you need to take the hit that you're going to take a step back. That MAC Cosmetics is going to come second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, blah, blah, because you are telling yourselves and telling the world that you're an artistry owned brand. For example, the people that they got to work there, you had to be a makeup artist, you had to have a portfolio. That all changed. Anyone could work there. There was a girl that worked there who had never ever ever touched a makeup brush in her life. There was someone who had no idea where bronzer went. And I'm not judging, like, everyone starts somewhere, but how have you got a job at MAC Cosmetics, at this massive brand who says that they are artistry only brand? How have you managed to get a job? So it was kind of just like MAC went from being exclusive and went from being artistry owned to being desperate, like really desperate, because they were seeing that people just did not care about the artistry side of it. In the UK, all their artistry stuff is in 2 London stores only, and in those stores you will find the really good stuff. So you would find stuff like this, which is the MAC paint stick. I have the shade Pure White. There's loads of shades. This is basically like a base. very, very, very similar to the P. Louise coloured bases. We used to have Select Cover Up, which was identical to the P. Louise base. So MAC were having all these inventions that they weren't selling or marketing well, and stopped doing them. And new brands like P. Louise, no shade there, she's a gangster, she's doing her thing, like, hats off. She swept in and brought these back out because that's what people wanted. But MAC thought that they have to be exclusive and artists only. So they just weren't selling where and how they should do. You have stuff like, why doesn't MAC have a liquid highlighter? They came out with these for a limited time only, right? This is the Hyper Real foundation. It's not a foundation, it's like liquid glow. There was like 4 or 5 shades and it was a liquid highlight and it was intense and it was exactly what people wanted. They didn't market it, they didn't get it out, and it was too late. When MAC launched their lip kits, apparently they were ready to go before Kylie did hers. But for some reason, MAC was second. It was the exact same products that they've all had, a lip liner and a lipstick, and it was put in a box. Why were you so delayed? Because it was put in a box. You had to make this box. Like, it doesn't take that long. And it wasn't discounted. It was the exact same price. So it was just their marketing and their reasoning behind things was so weird. And it was, honest to God, it was just, they just missed out on so much because they were so concerned with making sure that they stayed this Artistry brand, but they wanted to benefit off what influencers could do for them. And it was really, really sad to see. And it was stuff like, they didn't even really they started to stop investing in the staff as well, which was when I kind of was very vocal and very happy with being vocal. So I'm not sure what it's like for the other Estee Lauder companies, but with MAC, it used to be every 3 months, but then it got changed to every 6 months. So you go on something called Update, which is, it's a really, really good day. It's a day off the shop floor, and you meet other MAC employees from around the UK kind of thing. And it used to be that you would have an Artistry day. So there would be people called trainers who would help you, and they would be the ones that did all like the makeup, and then like we'd copy and whatnot, and they'd go through everything that's coming up with MAC, or the new releases and everything. The last one that I had, we weren't told about the Aladdin collection, and it was launching apparently a month later, and we were having people coming up to us, like customers, saying, "Hi, when's the Aladdin coming out?" Honest to God, I thought they were on about the film. I was like, I don't know, I don't work at Odeon. And it was a collection that we had no idea about, and the last few updates had absolutely nothing to do with makeup. It was all about customer service and selling. That's all it was. And that's all it really became, like the last year and a half. Was just how you can sell. We don't care about Artistry. We weren't allowed to do Artistry on the shop floor anymore, which is when I got offered the job, was the first thing that I said. I was like, do you guys do Artistry? Like, I really want to improve my Artistry skills. That all stopped because we had to concentrate on selling. I'm like, ugh, I'm trying not to rant. So again, when it came to the point of like, oh, we're just going to focus on selling, this is when the shift really started to happen, and this Artistry brand, who still to this day wants to be known as a makeup artist brand, started to show its colours that they were struggling. And then they started to get in contact with YouTubers and influencers, and then they sent out all these like PR packages, and then they did something that I didn't sign a non-disclosure form, so I can say what I want. But they did something that I very, very happily voiced my concerns about. There was a trip that MAC did, and they took quite a few influencers on, and I googled the cost of the hotel, because they stayed in specific rooms in the hotel. I googled how much all that cost. Basically, not long before they did this trip, MAC made some redundancies. And this wasn't a new thing, like they'd made a few redundancies whilst I was there, but this one kind of hurt a lot because they made redundancies to the trainers. Now the trainers were the people that I briefly mentioned, so the trainers were, they were higher up makeup artists really. And in MAC you have certifications that you have to pass to be able to do like appointments. So you would have like your M30, your M60, your lesson, your advanced, advanced 2, pro, all that kind of stuff, so that you could advance more and do more makeup, so that you could get a chance to do like fashion week, photo shoots, blah blah. And the trainers would be, they would usually be able to do that as well because they would be higher up advanced, but they would also come into stores and support and help us and give us any like tips and like improvements. They were the people who passed us and whatnot, and they made redundancies to them, which I just really got annoyed about, mainly because I was very friendly with a few of them. So my heart broke for them. But then a couple of weeks later, MAC took all these influencers out on this trip, and it costs, for one person, what they spent was probably what they could have spent a whole year's salary on for a trainer. And it really hurt that we have been told this whole time that MAC is a makeup artist brand and that's what they want to be as, but they're sacrificing jobs to get sales, and it hurt. It really, really hurt. Again, like I said, I was friendly with a few of the staff, of the trainers, so that's probably why it hurt a little bit more for me. Because you would just see that they were like fighting for their job. Oh, it's just, I still can't believe they did it. So I thought I would just do my lashes and that off cameras. So yeah, that to me was like the biggest point, that MAC have kind of decided it's going to be a influencer and mainstream, is what I kind of called it, makeup company, because they've got rid of the trainers who were there to boost the confidence and the skills of the makeup artists. They were there to do the updates and the basic training and everything, which, like I said, the updates got pulled back. We don't do them, they didn't do them as often, and there wasn't really that much artistry whenever they happened anyway. It was way more like sales based, which I left all that in my feedback. You got to leave feedback at the end of the day, and I was like, I missed the artistry. I was always like, yeah. So that was like the biggest tipping point for me, because I was just kind of like, this brand is just changing before my eyes. And honest to God, I was saying to a few of the people who replied to my Instagram stories about it, like, it literally happened overnight. When you look at YouTube videos like 2013 to like 2015, 2016, everyone was using MAC, Mineralized Skin Finish, Studio Fix Liquid, Pro Longwear Concealer. I don't even know if anyone's got Pro Longwear Concealer anymore. And then all of a sudden, it just wasn't there. It wasn't in anyone's thoughts. No one remembered it. No one really cared for it or anything. So it did kind of happen overnight, and I think that was the scariest point. And it kind of, when I look back at like work and the store, the customers seem to have disappeared overnight as well. It was crazy. Like, we'd be told what we made like the month before and the year before, and it was just like the difference was ridiculous. I think it also became a point that things weren't evolving. MAC weren't keeping up with quality at all, if I'm honest with you guys. I think, honestly, and I've said it and I'll say it again and again and again, the eyeshadows are an absolute joke. Honest to God, a brand that you think, before I worked there, if I ever needed like a colour, if I ever needed something really specific, I would be like, MAC have to have it. MAC would definitely have it. And that's the brand that I would always, like I said, I would just associate it with having what I need, with having a colour, with having a bright colour, with having a specific product. And for a brand that I associated like that, the quality of the stuff was just not there. The eyeshadows are just, I hated the 15 palettes, and I'm so glad they're gone. So when they were like, oh, we're gonna discontinue these, I was like, thank you, they are shit. And then they brought out the ×9 palettes, which again I think are crap as well. The MAC Girls palettes, which I cannot stand. The eyeshadow quality was just not there. You can't justify paying however much it was. Like, some of the eyeshadows now are like £16.50 for one. You can get a palette from Morphe with better quality, better colours than at MAC. Like, and it was just the fact that that kind of happened. I was like, they need to stay up, they need to stay ahead of the game, and they just weren't. And it, like I said, it was just sad to see. It was sad for it to have happened, and it just honestly broke my heart, because this was a brand that I had waited. I had applied for like 3 or 4 times to work for, and it was just a brand that you watched just disappear from people's memory almost. And MAC just, they didn't do anything in time, at least, to save it. They've only recently brought out new lashes, which was the first time they've ever done it since they've launched lashes, which is ridiculous to me because the lashes were awful as well. And they're just not staying on top of anything. Like I said, I think they're still in the mindset that they're relying on customers who have shopped there for years, and they're not wanting, or not able, should I even say, to branch out to anyone else, because they're not taking the actions that they need to. They're not investing where they need to. And like I said, I think that's really, really sad. Stuff like this Hyper Real foundation, that should have flown off the shelves if people knew. Like, look at that. You could have got that. And then these are your iconic drops. Obviously, like I said, there's other shades of that. There's more shades that are closer to this. These should have flown off the shelves. They really, really should have. And it was just the rise and the fall of it. Honestly, like I said, it really seemed like it happened overnight. And I think that's the scariest point. And I said it, and I've said it to people, and I'll say it on here and what have you. If MAC do not change their ways soon, they're going to end up as a self-service makeup brand, and they could possibly end up as an online-only brand. Because they're not paying attention to what people want. And when they are, they're doing it too late, or they're just, again, they're thinking, and they'll go back to the point, oh, but we're a makeup artist brand. And like I said, if you are, you need to take that out, and you need to just accept it and stop trying to make it a mainstream brand again then. There's too many brands coming out now. There's too many brands that people are now knowing about because of YouTube. I was the same. Before I watched YouTube, I thought like it was just like MAC. It was MAC and Boots. Like, those were the makeup brands. YouTube is opening people's minds to new brands. Like, look at Makeup Geek, Colourpop, Morphe. Like, people are wanting them. People are wanting good, affordable makeup. And MAC are, like I said about the brushes, they're just upping their prices. They're upping their price. They up their price every year, and they've always done that, but they're not matching it with the quality. The quality is staying the exact same, but the price is getting higher and higher. And if anything, from them going from real hair brushes to synthetic brushes, and the synthetic ones aren't the best, they're actually decreasing the quality instead of increasing or keeping it the same, in my opinion. So I feel like if MAC want to pull back, and if MAC want to become this influencer thing, they need to start speaking to influencers. They need to speak to their staff, and they need to get their opinion and their voices heard, because I would have happily have spoke to anyone from MAC and told them what they need to be doing and how to be doing it ASAP. Because right now, like I said, MAC won't be around for long. There's no chance. They're not keeping up. And it is sad, because it's a brand, like I said, that I just always associated makeup with, and it was an exciting brand. Like when they did stuff for the 25th anniversary for Viva Glam, they just repackaged an old Viva Glam, and it was just like, no, bring out a really cool limited edition colour. But yeah, I think they survived a lot off Velvet Teddy from Kylie Jenner, but they didn't do half of what they could have done with it. So yeah, I think MAC, I think they want the public to think of them as this makeup artist, exclusive, sexy, like, brand. but in the back of their minds I think that they know that they need to rely on influencers, and I think, is it too late? Possibly, but we'll see. We'll see in a few years. I give it 5 to 7 years. In 5 to 7 years I think we'll see the outcome of what MAC Cosmetics will be, and until then I still need my stripped down liner, so I'll keep going to get that, and hope that, you know, something happens and a little light bulb goes off. Maybe that light bulb is SophieBBeauty and they want to talk to me, but hey, who knows. But I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of video. I don't really think there was a structure, like I said. I probably should have had like notes written down to make sure that I hit each point, because I'll probably edit this and be like, oh my god, I didn't say this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will leave all the makeup that I used in the link down below for you guys as well if you were interested. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, so that I know that it like was received well. Give it a comment, share and subscribe to my channel, and until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.